keep telling me they know me. No one does.
I do.
One of the most exciting surprises is the return of Palpatine. So could you tell me how did you take that decision?
Well, I think you have to see the movie, obviously, to understand how it works. But I will say that a lot of what we did in this movie was stuff that we've been considering for a long time. And if you see the whole saga, everything that we're doing has been set up in the movies that exist. But what I love about getting to work with a story like this is the end of these 9 films, like the end of any saga, any one story. It's going to, it should, I think, if it's done right, use threads that have existed, themes, conflicts, characters, in ways that you don't necessarily expect, but that feel inevitable. And so that's what we did with in regards to this character, and I can't wait for you to see it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to completing your training. In time, you will call me Master.
That's for you to sort of decide like how much it connects to and relates to the other stories. But I will say that each of these trilogies has dealt with the same themes of good versus evil, of family, of loyalty, of the responsibility that comes with the certain power you have, whether it's force power, whether it's the intention to do good, to rebel against an oppressive regime, the idea of this kind of family saga. This is sometimes there are these themes that sort of recur, and certain characters recur that need to be sort of addressed and reckoned with. And so I think that this trilogy of the 3, it's a lot of, about this younger generation inheriting the sort of sins that have come before. This movie is it's the biggest threat that the galaxy has seen. It's the greatest challenge, both externally in terms of sort of what happens in the battle, but also in terms of internally wrestling with questions and demons and things that force the characters to have to step beyond what they think they're capable of. And that's, to me, the fixings of any great story.
Yeah, the next trilogy won't be focused in the old characters. So do you think it could be a risk to keep the attention of the fans?
I right now, because I'm so focused on this movie, it's hard for me to know what will happen next. And my guess is that that's the kind of question for Kathy Kennedy and the filmmakers who are doing that. But I'm excited to see what they do.
Okay. Luke Skywalker and Han Solo have died, and now the new characters and droids have an essential part in this movie. So, could you tell me the process behind to add these new characters in Star Wars universe?
Sure. I mean, from the beginning on Force Awakens, our goal was to create a group of characters that had the potential to take us through the end of the saga. And they're all different, but, amazingly, they were never all together, in episode 7 and 8. This is the first movie where you get to see the group together on this adventure. So the fun for me was, and I was so excited about this when we were first talking about episode 7, Force Awakens, was to get this group on a kind of like, just the kind of adventure that you want a group of people you just love together, and that hadn't happened yet. So one of my favorite things about The Rise of Skywalker is getting to have these characters together, and of course they go through a whole bunch of stuff, but having that group, as was a big deal and something I was really looking forward to and was very happy that we got to do in this film.
What was the most difficult part of all this process for this movie?
One of the most difficult things was doing scenes with the character of Leia, having lost Carrie, because she was obviously such a brilliant, wonderful person. And it was just, it was hard, but it was also, and technically challenging a bit because we were using old footage, but something that was, we couldn't figure out any way to tell the story without her. There were a ton of other kind of challenges. I mean, this is by far the biggest movie I've ever been involved in. So there were tons of, logistical things and shooting in locations with all sorts of, you'd have scenes with humans and droids and puppets and, it was a lot of that kind of stuff. But the scope and scale of the movie is pretty enormous. And as challenging as that was, it was also incredibly gratifying. And the cast and crew just did an amazing job. And, Daisy would work in these really unbelievable circumstances and freezing cold weather, doing stunts and all, and she never complained one time and was, I can't say enough about her. She's just amazing.
One of the most important messages in The Last Jedi was that everybody can be a Jedi. Do you think that The Rise of Skywalker kept that message?
Oh yeah, I mean, to me that's a hugely important thing. It doesn't limit storytelling, it doesn't limit what happens, but I think it's an absolute mistake to say that you have to be, related to a particular person or bloodline to be strong with the Force, but that doesn't limit anything. But I think that's that's what I felt as a kid. It was one of the most moving things for me about the Force, was that sort of anyone could have that. I subscribe to that sort of approach in a big way.